Welcome to my guide on how to build a Monk Invoker build. I went mainly Frost build. The idea of the build is doing massive amount of damage with the spell on cost. You do need 95 intelligence for this build to work, so it's very costly for a monk. I suggest when you start playing monk to always go to Tempest Bell. The bell deals massive amount of damage no matter what you do with it. Okay, so going over the skill tree. The skill tree is based on getting as much freezing as possible. Secondly, we also want to pick up crit. Once we've unlocked spell on cost, we also need a lot of buffs on triggered spells and meta skill energy. When it comes down to Ascendancy, we choose for Invoker. Invoker gives you the opportunity to build even more freezing, critting, and also the buff the triggered spells. As for skills, we go Quarterstaff Strike, which is a melee attack with support gems being Martial Tempo, Cold Infusion, and Ice Bite. This will allow you to build melee freeze when needed. Secondly, I go Frost Wall with Icicle to lower the life of the walls and Spell Cascade. We use the Hand of Chayula with Freezing Mark to apply a mark while dashing. Our main passive will be the big factor of this build as Cast on Freeze. We socket to Comet in there, which requires 95 intellect, and Spell Echo. Spell Echo makes the Comet fall twice. Frostbolt is a good way to build up frost on enemies to proc the Comet. We use Deceleration to make the Frostbolt hit more people, as well as Scattershot for more AoE and Glaciation for more freezing. Less important skill I also like using is Stormwave. Stormwave makes it easy to get out of the walls. It one-shots the wall and applies frost from the walls on the enemies standing behind it. Tempest, on the other hand, is one of my favorite skills as monk since I unlocked it. I apply a magnified effect, cold penetration, and primal armament on the skill, stacking more freezes. Wave of Frost is another skill I like using for mobility. The upside is massive freezing buildup, but doesn't spawn a lot of comets. I suggest using this when in danger. Shattering Palm is on the other hand another dash, which is not really necessary for the build. As far as gear goes, we just need the usual resistances from all sources. On top of that, we need a lot of cold damage, obviously, and we need spirit. We need 60 spirit for the cost on freeze. When it comes down to fighting, there's a big difference between fighting small mobs and big mobs. Big mobs tend to proc the wall, the ice wall, and that makes it spawn a lot of comets. Now small mobs for some reason don't do that, so you have to proc it with using a lot of frostbolts. When it comes down to bosses, I like to use the wall a lot in combination with the bell. Once they freeze and stay in place, I can use the bell and the walls at the same time and then deal massive amount of damage to the boss. That's all there is to it now. This guide is mainly to show you what you can do and experiment with, especially for new players like me. It's important that you keep trying new builds and don't be afraid to use other classes' abilities. Like this is mainly sorceress, but it works really well on monk.